a sad ending to the OL Reign season and Megan Rapinoe's career. The Mariners are going after all the utility players they can get, and a preview for Seahawks versus Rams. Welcome back to another episode of the Seattle Sports Show. I'm your host, Mikey, and let's just dive straight into what we got going on this week. Again, recording this episode a little bit later than I would have liked, but I have a little bit of time today, so let's get the episode recorded and let you know what's going on around Seattle sports. First up, we are going to talk about the OL Reign and the end of their season. And what a fairy tale ending to the OL Reign season and Megan Rapinoe's career that we could have had, that ended up being just a tragic ending and a sad one. We get all the way to the NWSL championship game. This was the healthiest that the OL Reign had been all year. It was like, wow, we're finally going to get to see Jordan Hytema, Roosevelt, Megan Rapinoe, all out there on the pitch together, right? And oh boy, this is going to lead to some real good things. We are gonna score, and we are gonna win this thing. Before the championship game, I predicted on social media that we would win this game by 2 goals, and unfortunately, we didn't even score 2 goals in this game, and barely, just a little bit over 2 minutes into this game, in a non-contact play, Megan Rapinoe, we saw her, chasing after the ball and slip a little bit, and she goes down. And you think, okay, well, she must have, just, slipped, fell, maybe twisted something, but hopefully she'll be okay. But Roosevelt goes over to her right away, and you could see Megan Rapinoe tell Roosevelt that things are not okay, and that she thinks she tore her Achilles. Just barely 2 minutes into the game, Megan Rapinoe has to leave her final game of her career, the championship game that, for the first time ever playing in the NWSL, but 11 years in the NWSL and never getting to the NWSL championship game. Obviously, she's won so many championships in other places, but 11 years with the OL Reign, never getting to the championship game, and just 2 minutes into it, tearing her Achilles. Just what a horrible ending. I mean, and we can see her personality, that she's very, she's got a sense of humor about things. That's why when we saw she missed the penalty kick in the World Cup this year, we saw her laugh. We saw her tear her Achilles here. She laughs. I think luckily for her that she has that sense of humor about life, and that she will, get through this okay. And now she's gonna, her first year of retirement, she has to go get surgery to repair her Achilles, and then spend a year uh, rehabbing an Achilles tear. What a first, or what a way to spend the first year of your retirement, right? Horrible, and just horrible that you know she wasn't barely even able to participate in the championship game that she had been waiting to get into for the NWSL. So yeah, so 2 minutes into that, Megan Rapinoe goes down, leaves the field. We see her go into the back. She comes back out later with a boot, and she's there to cheer her team on. So uh, you were hoping that just her being on the sidelines, uh, and with her injury, that it was going to give the players some extra motivation to, uh, you know, go out there and finish this thing off for Megan Rapinoe. Unfortunately, it didn't work out that way. You could tell that the players were shook, uh, in the following minutes after this, and they were kind of shook for a while, I think, and they didn't really wake back up until Gotham uh, had scored a goal, and then they scored a second goal. And while Roosevelt did score a goal in between that, I think the first goal, that proved to be a killer. I think just because it took that for them to, like I said, to kind of wake back up and get over the fog of, oh, one of our best players, one of the best players of all time period, just tore their Achilles in the first couple minutes of the game, and now what do we do? So, I think they were also expecting, that this was a potential fairy tale ending, and then when that gets blown up in your face in the first couple minutes, and you realize, like, well, the fairy tale is definitely not going to end. Even if we win, it's not going to be the same, because that player is not even going to get to play in the game. uh, I think that really affected the players there in the beginning. So yeah, unfortunately, we ended up losing the championship game 2-1. It was still an exciting game to watch. Obviously, we had that Rose Lavelle goal, and then Latsko had a couple other chances that were like so close. Uh, I just didn't quite hit on target, uh, and it just and it just didn't work out. You could tell I'm still really bummed out about it. We're talking like a week later, and I'm still really bummed out about it. Um, yeah, it was tough. As a Seattle sports fan, it's always tough to see, or as any sports fan, really, it's tough. You see your team get to the championship game, you're thinking you got a great chance to win, and then tragedy happens right at the start of the game, and then you don't. So a couple of things to look forward to for next year. Claudia Dickey, goalie, has already signed through 2025. And after um, Tillis left, I think Dickey looks great in there. So really excited to have her uh, extend her contract through the team and hopefully help us get to another one. And then Alana Cook, her option for 2024 was picked up. So good to have that good defender in the backfield still. I mean, if we lose Megan Rapinoe, but we're able to keep the rest of the core together, I really like our chances for next year to get back into the playoffs and have another chance at another championship. And then we will see who owns this team as well by then. We've heard that Megan Rapinoe is potentially going to be part of an ownership group that would buy the Reign, because the club that owns them in or the ownership group that owns them in France is selling them. And now we've heard that the Seattle Sounders would like to purchase the OL Reign or have interest or in advanced talks of purchasing the OL Reign. So we will see new ownership next year, and then we won't have to be calling them the OL Reign. We could just go back to calling them the Seattle Reign, or just the Reign, whatever they decide to rename the club. But we can get rid of the OL. Yeah, so there is your update on the Reign. Unfortunately, they lose that championship game 2-1, and Megan Rapinoe goes down, and we have to try again next year. All right, so there's that. Let's go ahead and let's talk some Mariners now. All right, and here's a couple of things for the Mariners. First up, they hired Brant Brown to their coaching staff. He has been a hitting coach for Miami the last year. Now he's coming over here. I'm still unclear of exactly what his title or role is going to be. From what I understand, he's going to be some sort of, hitting director, but not exactly the hitting coach. So, I'm not sure exactly what that means. So, will he be the one that's coming up with the plan, and then he's delegating the plan to the hitting coaches of the Mariners and all the minor league teams, or what? I'm not sure exactly how that's going to work, but we'll keep you updated on that as we find out exactly more information about exactly what his job is going to be when we find out more. The Mariners, they like to trade. They made a trade since the last episode we made. We trade Isaiah Campbell for another utility player, Luis Arias, and from the Red Sox. And yeah, he's another infield utility player. We got lots of them on this team now. So we'll see what they decide to do. I mean, that could just be competition, right? And they're going to see who's going to win this job. If it's going to be Urias, is it going to be Rojas? Is it going to be I don't know why I'm just having a brain fart. But who's going to win that utility job, right? With Urias in there now. And now, the other thing I've heard is, that the Toronto Blue Jays have been interested in Eugenio Suarez, and that you potentially could have Urias play third base, right? That he has the type of career numbers that would tell you that he could play third base. In 2021, he had 23 home runs. 2022, he had 16. Last year, he only played in 52 games and only had 3 home runs. But are they thinking, hey, if we can get this guy back to having a full healthy year like he did in 2021 and get 20-something home runs out of him, could he be a third, the replacement for Eugenio Suarez, who we all love, but is getting older. His defense was still great. His offense, is starting to tail off a little bit as he gets older. So you're talking about Eugenio Suarez, who's just 24 or 25 years old, and still has a lengthy career ahead of him if he can do well, that is. But is that is that their thought process? Like, hey, well, we just got this guy, and we can replace a Eugenio Suarez now, or we have the replacement for him now, and we can maybe possibly get something else for a Eugenio. Now, I don't know how again, that's another move. I don't know how popular it would be in the clubhouse. I know a lot of players like Suarez. He does play really good defense, but is this one that you could sell to the club that, well, this player has potential to be more than what Suarez was, so this should actually help the team. Now that they haven't done that, so we don't really know if that's what's going to be. Okay, Urias is 26, so we don't know if that's really what they're going to do. It's just something I've heard that is a possibility. And if they don't change a Eugenio, then, like I said, Urias is competing for that job for the utility infield player with quite a few other players on the Mariners roster. And now, just talking about the player they traded away, Isaiah Campbell. I really like Isaiah Campbell. Big fan. Love the mustache. Good bullpen guy. But the Mariners have a lot of them. They're very good at. It seems like anytime they trade for a reliever or they go sign a reliever, they come to Seattle and they do a good job of developing them and improving their numbers. So there's so many already here, and it seems like they can go out and get. They're very good at identifying guys that will be good for this ballpark. So, again, as much as a fan of Campbell I'm a fan of the Mariners, the team itself, more. So sometimes you got to get rid of players you like to improve the team, or a chance to improve the team. So, that's just part of the game. That's part of doing business. So I wish Isaiah Campbell a good career over there in Boston, but you got to do something. You got to make moves and give this team a chance to get better, because we saw how close this team is. We were just a game away from making the playoffs, just 2 games away from winning the division. So you got to make some moves that can make any little improvements to help put this team over the top. And that means you might have to trade some players away that you like. And we saw how good this core is based on MVP voting. This year, we had 3 players receive votes for MPV voting. Cal Raleigh finished 18th in the voting. J.P. Crawford finished 17th in the voting, and Julio Rodriguez finished 4th in MVP voting this year. So that tells you we have a great core. We just have to get the right players around them. Last year, the Mariners did not do enough. One, they didn't. I guess the first thing is, they didn't do enough. They didn't go out and do enough. They should have made more moves in the offseason last season. And then the moves they did make last offseason ended up not being the right moves. So I would like to see them make even more moves this year in the offseason, and have more chances to have some of those moves be the right moves. So if we're trading away relievers for bats that can potentially help impact this lineup, then I'm okay with it. And then obviously there's free agents out there. Blake Snell is out there. He wants to pitch in Seattle. He just talking about award winners, Blake Snell was the Cy Young Award winner this year, and he wants to pitch in Seattle. And I've heard some people say online, well, he's not exactly the type of pitcher that the Mariners go for. So maybe you wouldn't sign him because he doesn't fit. Well, if that's the only reason, then I say poo poo to that because come on, you're talking about a Cy Young winner. Yes, he doesn't exactly control the zone as a pitcher as much as the Mariners like, but uh, the point is he gets results. You don't tell me, oh, we don't want to go after a superstar player just because he's not exactly the style that the rest of the team is. You find a way to get that player on your team. Okay, you get an award winner on your team and have more talent. You try to get as much talent on your team as possible. And I'm not one of these guys that just looks at, well, what's his style? Does it fit the style that they want? Well, does the player get results? Okay, does the player get results? If the player gets results, you go after him. So I hope they go after Blake Snell. And another player that I hope they go after in free agency is Shohei Ohtani. Now, there's a lot of things that's going on with Shohei Ohtani right now. Okay, and the Mariners. There's a lot of things coming out about what Shohei Ohtani is possibly looking for. None of it sounds like what the Mariners can provide. Obviously, he's not going to be able to pitch next year with needing with getting surgery. So we've heard rumors that he's looking for a team where he could, have a really good chance of winning a triple crown. We know that the ballpark, his home ballpark, if he came to Seattle, is not going to help those chances. So that's not good. If he wants to come back and pitch the year after, then we're talking about a ballpark that would be really good for him. But if he wants, he's Shohei Ohtani. Could he win a triple crown in T-Mobile Park? Yes, he could. Does it increase his chances? Definitely not. So I don't think that helps. And then the other thing that I'm hearing now is that the Mariners might not have Ohtani in their plans. And again, this is one of those things that if it's just because of money, how ridiculous. You're talking about the biggest free agent, the best free agent in baseball of all time, and you're telling me he's not going to be a part of your plans in the offseason of like if I'm hearing this the way I hear it is, oh well, how much is it going to cost? And if you're telling me that you cannot even at least you don't have to offer Ohtani the most money. If there's another team, because we know this ownership group does not want to spend money. If there's another ownership group out there that just wants to blow him out of the water and he has no choice but to say yes to that deal, that's one thing. But if you're going to tell me that the Mariners are not even going to make a competitive offer for the best free agent in baseball of all time, then that is not okay. That is the kind of thing that's going to make me say, okay, well, I'm just not going to go to Mariners games anymore. If they really cannot even put the effort into going after the best free agent of all time, then I cannot make the effort to go to games anymore. It's just, it makes no sense for me as a fan, where then you're definitely telling me, well, all we really care about is, revenue. We don't care about providing the fans, the best chance to win. We want to just make revenue, and we want to give them a good experience in the park. Yeah, there's lots of things about the ballpark that are great here, right? It's a fun place to be. They got good, it's a nice facility. They got lots of fun things for the kids to do. They got good food, but I I could care less about that. I don't want to spend that much money and just watch my team lose. I want to know they have the best chance to win and that the team made the effort to give them the best chance to win. So if you're going to tell me they can't even make that effort, then I can't make the effort to go. It's just, ridiculous. If it's all just down to financial and you're telling me that they're not even going to try to make a competitive offer because they just feel like it's going to be too much, then they're they're gonna fans are really gonna tune out this year if that's end up being the case. If that's what we find out, the reason why Ohtani doesn't come here. Again, if it's just his choice because he wants to go somewhere else, then that's one thing. But if it's because we can't even give him a true competitive offer, then that's a whole different story. And then that should be a whole different story, for the players, which is even worse. Yeah, fans, we are going to tune out if that is the case. But who else is going to tune out? The ball club, the players on this team, the core of your team, the players that we talked about. JP Crawford, Cal Raleigh. Yeah, Julio Rodriguez signed a 13-year contract, but it doesn't matter. If he's here for 13 years and he's tuned out because he feels like ownership doesn't want to help him win, then yeah, that's going to affect the way he plays. And it's going to affect the mood in the clubhouse. The players who aren't signed to 13 years, they're going to want to leave, and then Julio is going to want to leave too. And it doesn't matter, even if he ends up playing all 13 years here because they never trade him away because he's just too good. If he's not wanting to be here, the fans are going to feel that too. So that's really going to affect the enjoyment of watching the team. And if you're not going to enjoy watching the team, you're definitely not going to go to games. And again, it's going to affect the clubhouse, and you just don't expect a team that feels that way to win many games, or to win enough games anyways to compete for a World Series, which is what we're wanting this team to do with a young core that they have that all receive MVP votes. You're not going to feel like they're still not going to be enough to get to a World Series if nobody else is going to come here, or if they are themselves feeling like they don't want to be here. So that's the Mariners right now. It's the off season. I love the off season. Hope springs eternal. The Ohtani news and the Mariners maybe not even having him in their plans kind of takes that away. But I'm still really excited about other improvements that we can make. But yeah, it's just like a splash of cold water to the face when you hear the news. Even though they could be making a ton of other moves to help this team, it's just it's a slap in the face really to hear like, oh yeah, they're not even gonna go after the biggest guy. So we'll see what they do. We'll keep you updated. Talked a little bit of Mariners now. Let's go ahead and let's talk some. Let's go to the Kraken next. All right, and the Kraken, they are on a winning streak right now. Can you believe it? They've won 2 games in a row since our last recording. They had also lost 3 games in a row from our last recording, and then now they've won the last 2. During this time period where they had these losses, Dave Hackstall, our coach, went off on the players in a practice. Media was there to witness it. Because I've decided that this show is family friendly, I cannot repeat what Dave Hackstall said, but it was basically letting his players know they need to shoot the puck because they have no identity. And you heard me talking about it on the recent episode that, yeah, this team looks like they're just skating around, and then when they're on off, like nobody's moving and nobody's shooting the puck. Really boring to watch. And you go, okay, well, that's why they're not scoring, because are they even going to shoot, or what's happening here? And now in the last 2 games, They have been shooting, and guess what? If you shoot the puck enough on goal, you're gonna score sometimes. And now we've won the last 2 games 4-3. We beat the New York Islanders. We almost screwed that one up. We were winning that one 3-1 going into the third period. We let them tie it up, and then we go to a shootout, and we won the shootout. Our first one in 579 days. The first one that we've won since the first season. We're in our 3rd season now. We have not won a shootout since the first season. So finally get a win in the shootout. And then Vancouver, we just beat them last night. We get a win 4-3, and again, just shooting the puck. That's what this team at least needs to do. Like I said, watching the Storm this year, even though they lost a lot, at least they were fun to watch because you felt like, okay, well, at least they're doing something offensively. Are they getting any stops done on defense? No, but my goodness, there's a lot of fun stuff watching. A lot of fun stuff to watch on the offensive side of the ball. Well, for the Kraken this year, it hasn't been much fun at all. Like they cannot, they're not scoring. It doesn't look like they're attempting to score enough even. And then when they do attempt to score, they're so overly aggressive that teams transition on them so easily and get easy goals that the defense isn't there. So it wasn't good to watch offensively or defensively. But hopefully, the last couple of games here, they've woken up and can get on a roll and get things going here. Like I said, the NHL, it's a long season, right? It's 82 games. It's a basketball season basically. So still lots of games to go. They've played 19 games so far. We are tied for 4th in the Pacific Division, and if they're gonna keep getting points to move up in the rankings, they're gonna have to keep scoring. So hopefully, they will play the type of games that they've been playing the last 2 games, and at least be entertaining to watch. And hopefully, that leads to even more wins along the way. We shall see. Okay, that's the Kraken. Hopefully they can get things, or hopefully this is the start of things getting turned around here. Okay, let's see here. Who else do we have to talk about? Well, let's just quickly. I don't have any big news, but we can quickly mention. Let's mention the Sounders here. All right, and the Sounders, as we said, they're interested in buying OL Reign. And then the other piece of news, of course, is that we are in the middle of the playoffs. The next playoff game is November 26th. So, just as fans, let's be ready for that, to cheer on our team. There's nothing, no other really news to let you know about the Sounders. Again, just the way the MLS, it's not the most popular soccer league in the world. So, and the way they have their schedule set up, it's kind of in the middle of international competition. So there's like these long breaks between playoff games, so that the international games can happen, and the players who play for the international teams can play for them. It's already been a couple of weeks since the last game for the Sounders, and we still have to wait one more week till the next playoff game. So we will be there to cheer them on when it finally does happen, though. So just a reminder that they're playing on November 26th, and hopefully they can win that matchup and keep advancing through the playoffs here. All right, there's your Sounders. And last, but not least, we don't have any other, Sea Dragon news to talk about. There's no Storm updates right now. So let's talk some Seahawks. right, and I am recording this episode on the morning of November 19th. We are going up against the LA Rams at 125 today. And you know, they gave us a pretty big upset at the beginning of the season. This is a revenge game, and it does look quite a bit different from week one. We're all the way in week 11 now, and the team looks entirely different. We didn't have Devin Witherspoon back, no JSN. Well, we had JSN, but broken hand still at the time. Woolen was just coming back his first week back from surgery. Offensive line as well. Our offensive line is healthier than it was then. Again, remember we started out the season with injuries on the offensive line, so offensive line is healthier this time around. There's just Jamal Adams being out in that first game as well. This team looks entirely different from week one. And with our team being mostly at full strength for this game, again, I expect to win. Our team is just too talented to lose to the LA Rams, who do not have as much talent as us. Now, Sean McVay, he's got such a great record against Pete Carroll, 9-5. He knows how to attack Pete Carroll defenses, and that's what has me fearful about this matchup, because it's the same thing. And the players that they didn't have Cooper Kupp, so now they have Nakua and Cooper Kupp back, and these are both players that can just absolutely kill the Seahawks defense. And the way Sean McVay uses them, it could be an absolute nightmare for the defense, right? They're going to be attacking pass coverage from our linebackers and our safeties, which can be suspect sometime. At times this year, it's very suspect. Now it's going to be a lot different having Devin Witherspoon to match up against their best receivers, whether he's matching up against Kupp or Nakua, to try to negate some of what they do. It's going to look different. I'm very excited to see how this matchup works. Remember, Devin Witherspoon's entire college career didn't play the slot. First game back, doesn't play the slot for the Seahawks. Then after that, they start going up against some like star slot players, and they ask Witherspoon to cover that ever since the the first couple weeks in, and he's been doing it, and he looks like he can cover anybody anywhere on the field. And we're going to need that against Kupp and Nakua in this game. We have to slow them down, and hopefully we can neutralize them. We've seen Witherspoon neutralize a couple of receivers this year. I mean, if you can do that, like I said, this Rams team, they do not have a lot of depth, and we have, and we are the opposite of that. We have a lot. So if Witherspoon can shut down one of their stars, then all the other stars that we have in the backfield have a good chance of being able to do their job better, because they don't have to worry about helping out Witherspoon with Kupp or Nakua. The Rams, they also have had injuries at running back, so hopefully we'll be able to do better against the run against them this time around as well. This is going to be a tough matchup. As much as you want to say, yeah, this Rams team doesn't have the same talent, it just so happens because they are a division opponent. They are built to beat a team like the Seahawks. You know, you got to win your division first, and to do that, you have to build teams to beat your in division opponents. And the Rams, they are built to beat the Seahawks. So, still very very nervous about this game. Uh, you know, we're gonna want to see some pressure brought in here as well. I'm hoping, you know, with Adams being in this game this time, uh, Wagner here, you know, Witherspoon being in the game this time, and how well these players can get pressure off of blitzes. I'm hoping that's going to be able to throw off the timing of Matthew Stafford as well, who, you know, at times this year looks like his old self, and we don't want him to look like his old self. We don't want this to be one of the games where he looks like his old self again. Okay, we want to we want to you know, affect his play as well. Okay, I'm expecting this to be a win. Again, I'm not expecting a blowout, though. This is not one of the games where I say, oh, we got to get a blowout. And that would feel really good. There's been other games this year and other teams that we've gone against this year where I say, hey, we should blow them out. This sure would feel good if we did get a blowout, because it would give this team more confidence. But this is not one of those games or one of those teams. Again, because they're in division, because Sean McVay is so good against coaching against this defensive scheme, and he has the talent that is a threat to our team and our scheme. I don't expect this to be a blowout. I'm expecting like a let's say a 23-18 victory. Okay, it's going to be close. A one possession type of game, and it's not, I have a feeling it's not going to be pretty, but it sure is going to be fun, I think. So let's be there. Let's go Hawks, and let's get another win, and that sure would be huge. At that point, we would be 7-3. We have a tough schedule coming up after that. You know, we have San Francisco on Thanksgiving, then we go to Dallas, then we go to San Francisco, then we have Eagles at home. If we win this game and we're 7-3, we're, you know, we don't know what San Francisco will do today, but that means we're either going to be tied for first place in the division still, or if San Francisco lose, we will have the lead in the division for the week, heading into that tough gauntlet of games where we have to go against San Francisco twice. So it'd be huge to have a division lead or still be tied for it and be fighting for this division. But also the other thing about being 7-3, that means the rest of the way, you just need a couple of wins to get into playoffs. Look around the NFC. It's not like the AFC. AFC is going to be nuts this year for the playoffs. So many teams are just right there. NFC, we're talking, if we're sitting at 7-3, we probably just need to win 2 more games the rest of the year to get into the playoffs. You know, 3 more wins the rest of the year would definitely get you into the playoffs, but it would be likely that you'd only even need 2 more. So a win here would be huge, because again, we have a tough gauntlet after that. So if you get the win here, it looks a lot easier to just pick up a couple more wins the rest of the way. Whereas if you lose here, then you're going into the hardest part of your schedule. You're a little bit more nervous, because then you need to win 3 or 4 more at that point. So then you're feeling like, oh, okay, we need to win 3 or 4 more in the toughest part of our schedule. You get a little bit more nervous about that. But, you know, confidence in this team that they'll get this win today, and then, you know, finish off this season strong and get ourselves into the playoffs, and hopefully get that division win and get a week off too. We'll see. All right, that is going to be the episode for today. Let me know how you're feeling about the Seahawks today against the Rams. What do you think this game is going to look like? You know, if you're an OL Reign fan, you're sad like me, trust me, I feel for you. Let me know about it. And let me know if you're excited for what the team can do in this next year. And Mariners fans, you got to let me know. Okay, how are you feeling right now about what's going on in this offseason and the offseason plans. Okay. Um, that's going to be the episode. Please hit the subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube. Hit the like button. Again, leave those comments. Let me know what teams you're a fan of, and let me know what you know. Let me know the scores or who you want the Mariners to go after. Let me know. And then if you're listening on a podcast, follow, subscribe, leave a review. That all helps out the show. All right, guys, that's going to be the episode. So, thank you so much for listening to the Seattle Sports Show. Lost my train of thought there. Yeah, just thank you again for listening to the Seattle Sports Show. This is where we watch legends awaken and breathe fire. So take cover, because with the Sea of Sound, you will see us rise to reign supreme and win forever.